Morning. Welcome to your final literacy lesson of the week. We're going to be writing our final paragraph today and then editing all of our work to make sure it is a coherent story all the way through. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started on today's lesson. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is I would like you to go back into your book, all right, and reread your last paragraph. Just having a look, rereading it. Does it make sense? Are you happy with it? Okay, once you've done that, come back and press play. Alrighty, so today's lesson is going to be writing our final chapter where Edward sadly has to leave either the circus, the pilot, or the classroom. Okay, so to help us before we get into it, let's take a look at our plan. So if you go back to your previous lessons where you have your plan, okay, having a look at the section that we titled Exit from Owner, all right, what is going to happen? What did you decide? Well, in mine, I said Merle is going to throw Edward out the school bus window. He's going to land in a field. Now, it's really important. Everybody's story today is going to end the same way, with Edward in a field. That's going to be because we know that because our chapter fits into the book, the next thing that's going to happen is he's going to be found in the field by the old woman who's going to put him up and hang him on a cross to be a scarecrow. So it's going to be really important that we all end it the same way. All right, so quickly check your plan. All right, or if you already remember it, great, we can jump straight into it. Just going to put it back on the correct page and let's have a look what we're writing today. So our final paragraph with Edward and Bull and Lucy, it looks like this. It says, looking confused, the man poked at Edward with his boot and bent down to pick him up. No free rides for rabbits either. Holding Edward by one of his china legs, he opened the carriage door and flung him. No, Lucy, Bull, Edward thought to himself. With an alarming thump, he landed and tumbled down a hill. So we're going to rewrite this today, and it's going to follow this structure. What happens to Edward? How does the mean person, the bad person, discard of Edward? What is Edward thinking? And where does he end up? Hint, hint. Number 4, it's going to be in a field. Okay, so let's jump straight into it. What happens to Edward? So this is from the original Lucy and Bull paragraph, and it says, looking confused, the man poked at Edward with his boot and bent down and picked him up. No free rides for rabbits either. So now our character, whether the person has already spotted Edward or hasn't yet spotted them, is now going to do something with Edward. So maybe, for example, you could start as wondering why they had the toy with them, or poking Edward with his boot, or confused, or spotting Edward. Okay, so in order for mine to make sense, what I need to do is go back and read the last thing that happened. So I had in mind, looking and impressed, he reached out and hit Edward so that he fell on the floor. Then Merle cruelly kicked him under the seat and sat in Edward's seat. Edward was furious. None of the children treated him this way, but what could he do? He was face down on the floor and no one had noticed. So for my character, Edward is under the seat. So now Merle's going to need to grab him out before he can get rid of him. So to start my new paragraph, I'm going to leave 2 lines and I'm going to write something that my problem character does to Edward. Okay, so I can start with a nice fronted adverbial like suddenly, comma, Merle's hands reached under the seat working on every second line to give myself space to edit, and grabbed his leg. And I'm going to use some speech now to move my story forward. So in this example here, it says, no free rides for rabbits either. So I know that the train conductor is about to do something to Edward, which means he has to leave. So I'm going to use the speech to move the story forward. So I might say something like, speech marks, capital letter, no one needs a baby toy like you, punctuation, speech marks, Merle snarled, not said, because said is dead, snarled at him. So I know something is about to happen because my speech has moved the story forward. So I'm going to tick off what happens to Edward. All right, so you can pause the screen here, go away and write something that happens to Edward. What do they do? Do they grab him, prepare to throw him out? Do they hide him behind their back as they're about to walk out of the house? Do they stuff him in a suitcase so they can carry him away? What do they do to Edward? Okay, once you've done that, come back and press play. All right, so next we're going to get rid of Edward. Okay, so in the original story, or in the last chapter that we wrote, we said holding Edward by one of his china legs, he opened the carriage door and flung him. Okay, so maybe picking Edward up by his, ears, opening the carriage door, maybe they're on a train, maybe they're in a car, maybe they're on an airplane, holding Edward in one hand or grasping Edward tightly. You can choose how you want what he's going to do. So I'm going to say, because my story is that they're on a bus on a school trip, so I'm going to say, as the bus trundled, that means to slowly move, trundled past another field, F-I-E, fields, Merle reached up, oh, I messed up reached, so I'm going to use my ruler to neatly cross it out. Try again. Reached up, and I want to pout. Didn't open, he yanked open. Yanked open the window. And now I can either say he throws him, or maybe he just dangles him. Maybe he doesn't quite let go yet. So he dangled Edward. He dangled Edward out of it. End of my sentence. Lovely. Right, your turn. I'd like you to pause the video and write, how do they get rid of him? You can say that your character lets Edward go now. That's absolutely fine. Okay, just saying that he's been flung out, he's been dumped somewhere. What has happened to him? So pause the video now and write that. Once you've done that, come back and press play. Okay, on to our third sentence. What does Edward think? So in our Lucy and Bull paragraph, he said, no, Lucy, Bull. Okay, maybe he could think, what is happening, he wondered, or is this going to hurt, or not again, screamed Edward in his mind. So I'm going to say, he dangled Edward out, speech marks, capital letter, please, no, I want to stay. Oh, want to stay, speech marks, Edward screamed. Can I fit it? Nope, so hyphen, ed, screamed in his mind. Full stop. Okay, so just one sentence. What does Edward think to himself? Pause the video now and write something that he might think to himself. Come back and press play once you're done. Lovely. And our final sentence that we're going to do is, where does he end up? So he needs to end up in a field. That is not an option. He must end up in a field so that the story could continue and make sense if they had our chapter in it. So with an alarming thump, he landed and tumbled down a hill. So we could say with a painful bump, with a worrying crack, as he hit the floor, hitting the ground with a thump. You could write anything. So I know that Merle hasn't dropped Edward yet, so I need to say something like grinning nastily. Grinning nastily, comma for my fronted adverbial. Merle dropped Edward. Poor Edward. Okay, and with a sickening crack, Edward hit the road. New page. Oh, I haven't actually ticked these things off. Edward, what did I write last? Edward hit the road. He has to end up in a field or down a hill or somewhere that he can be found by this woman. Edward hit the road and bounced over the curb. Oops, put an extra letter in there. Over the curb. And began rolling down a hill towards a field. Full stop. All right, your turn. How are you going to make him end up in a field? All right, off you go. Once you've done that, come back and press play. Okay, lovelies. The last thing we're going to do on our paragraph is we're going to go and edit it. So going back to my paragraph, I'm going to start. I'm going to read through. I'm looking for capital letters for names. I'm looking for punctuation. I'm looking for spelling. So helping me with mine. Suddenly, his name isn't Merle's. His name is Merle's hand. So he owns the hand. It's possessive. We need an apostrophe. Merle's hand reached under the seat and grabbed his leg. No one needs a baby toy like you, Merle snarled at him. As the bus trundled past another field, I took a breath. As the bus trundled past another field, okay, so I need a comma to separate that bit of information. Merle reached up and yanked open the window. He dangled Edward out of it. Ooh, looking at Edward. Edward is a name. It needs a capital letter. Please, no, I want to stay. Let me check my speech. Speech marks, capital letter, punctuation. So what punctuation might be appropriate? Please, no, I want to stay. Could do a comma, could do a exclamation mark. I cannot do a full stop. It's not the end of the sentence. Please, no, I want to stay, Edward screamed in his mind. Grinning nastily, Merle dropped Edward with a sickening crack. With a sickening crack, pause, Edward, all right, it's a pause. I need a comma. That's my fronted adverbial. Edward hit the road and bounced over the curb and began rolling down the hill towards a field. Lovely. I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to up level it. I'm going to see if I can add in maybe another sentence or rewrite a sentence. So suddenly Merle's hand reached under the seat and grabbed his leg. No one needs a baby toy like you, Merle snarled at him. As the bus trundled past another field, Merle reached up and yanked open the window. He dangled Edward out of it. I think I could use some more information around here. Edward's being held out of a window. Maybe I could write about how he feels. Okay, so I'm going to put my up arrow to indicate that this is an extra bit of information. Edward felt fear, blood through him. There we go. It's going to be much more powerful. Let me reread it. As the bus trundled past another field, Merle reached up and yanked open the window. He dangled Edward out of it. Edward felt fear flood through him. Please, no, I want to stay, Edward screamed in his mind. That's better. I like that short, sharp sentence that makes me really feel anxious. So it's your turn now. I'd like you to pause the video, go back and edit that paragraph, okay? Once you've done that, you need to take a photo and upload it onto Seesaw for your teachers to see and give you feedback on. Please make sure you take like maybe the whole story. Read your whole story from start to finish. Does the chapter make sense? Will it fit nicely into the Edward Tulane story? Okay. put the whole story up on Seesaw for us so that we can give you feedback. We're looking forward to reading your amazing inventions, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Bye.